microphone. So I didn't bring the cable. But I'd just like to take this opportunity to say to all of you, thank you so much for coming to our wedding. And looking as sexy as you all do. And thanks on behalf of the Hannons. To the bridesmaids, to the groomsmen, to the groom, to the best man, to the parents, to the family, to the friends, to the helpers, to the sorters, to the duckers, to the weavers, every single person that has helped us make this day, which has just been incredible. Thank you so much, and we love you all very, very dearly, and we're so glad that we could get all of you in one wonderful place. And look at my wife, she's so fit. Do we do more speeches or do we cut cake? What's the procedure?
No, just keep on going, Andy. Keep on going.
Anthony!
Come and do a speech. Come and say thank you. Right. Do you want the chair or not?
I'm Nicole, you can all just deal with it. Thank you everybody for coming. I don't really know what to say, we said it all, but thank you so much for coming. I think our day really special and cramming into this lovely little place to celebrate with us. So
all the best man first.
Meddling kids. Nice. Yeah. Looking hot, son. Looking hot.
You have to shield your mouth like this.
Protection.
I can't have a load of photos with me doing that. Wouldn't be the first time. Right. I'm not usually one for reading things verbatim from a page, but you know I spent time on this, so bugger it. I've committed a first faux pas as best man by actually emailing the speech to the group, which you know obviously he thought was for proofreading. Luckily, I emailed it in a format he can never open. But because I was emailing it as a backup, mine and his first two letters of the name matched, so literally emailed it to the worst person I could. So I rewrote half of it that evening. Good man. So
I didn't read it.
Well, that was a waste of time then. You could have just pretended that you did. So entitled that speech. Firstly, thank you everyone for coming, which Andrew just reiterated. It's been absolutely fantastic amounts of effort by the bridesmaids, people, everybody here to make this what it is today and to do the wedding for the Hannons today. So that just goes without saying. Also, thank you, Andrew and Andrea, for getting married in the first place. Yay! Bloody hell, we've waited long enough.
The world just got a little bit sexy.
Yes! We've finally joined two of the world's sexiest people. Now, I've been friends with Andrew for nearly 20 years now. It's coming up for 20 years. And in that time, I've seen you change a lot. You know, from the little boy that you once were. I've also seen some things. I've also seen you do some things. Things he can be proud of, things he'd rather forget, things he'd rather I'd forget. And I remember when we first discussed me becoming best man, when he did the very great honour of being best man for me at my wedding 6 years ago, he said, "You better not bloody say a word." I remember coming up with a deal with him in a pub that I would only tell the 3 most embarrassing stories that I had about Andrew. So I had to start thinking, what are the 3 most embarrassing things I could talk about of 20 years of Andyisms? And then I thought to do something that he would never see coming. I'm going to be nice. Yay! Now let me justify. I got to reflecting upon my friendship with Andrew, and I thought about coming up with the tales of the things that he got up to. I'm sure most of the police records are public by now, so you can probably stuff. Of the stress that he caused his poor mother and father over there. I think back to the days when we were kids, and we used to play out in the street. And as we were talking about earlier, we used to kick a lamppost down the end of the street and turn it off and on. And
it's a very small part
until one of us kicked it so hard it would never come on again. And I'm pretty sure the councilman had to be dispatched for that one. And he kept his head down, of course. I think back to the episodes of Bottom, the TV show, the BBC TV show, that we used to get hold of the scripts of Bottom and perform them live on
no one
on Sandra Richards' lawn, to nobody, except the neighbours who twitch their curtains. But now I can kind of understand, as I look back at those scripts and see the connotations of the words coming out of the mouth of a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old respectively, I can understand why the curtains twitches.
And why we're so emotionally unbalanced.
Yeah, and why we've probably stuck together all this time. I think back to us recording our little radio shows in your bedroom. You on the little tape deck and me on the Yamaha PSR 150. Damn, I had 120. But I did say, I'm sure he'll correct me afterwards. I remember the joy that we found on that keyboard when we found out that holding the buttons in a certain order would turn everything to a dial tone for a digital telephone. Who does that on a keyboard?
You can hack a keyboard, people.
You can hack a keyboard. As 10-year-old, we found that. I remember to borrowing our friends' video cameras, to first sharing our enthusiasm for filming sketches and doing stuff up and down the road and making absolute tits of ourselves, but still yet managing to produce something better than ITV has in the last 5 years. So maybe I should have kept hold of them, I might have been able to make some money. But,
true story.
Yeah, it's true story. Yeah, true story. And I thought back to all of that, and all I could do was smile about it. And I thought, how could I then ruin all of this by coming up with bad stories for literally the best man that I've ever met? But also, I think that says a lot about him. You know, whether it's the person that he's insisted must take his seat on the bus because they've got a slightly bigger bag than him. You know, almost to the point of verbal and physical threats to take the seat. Or it's the ticket inspector on a train trying to get the ticket out of him and having to listen to an explanation longer than a plot of a Jane Austen novel to see why he hasn't got one. You always manage to bring a smile to those people's faces, and I think that's important to remember about you. Not when you dyed your pupil hair. Oh no, sorry. That slipped in there. Let's leave that one. That one.
Green, wasn't it? Green?
It was a rash.
Bloody pink rash. I think yeah, I love you beyond any means. It doesn't mean that I haven't been fucking worried about you for the years and what might happen to you. So that's why I'm so glad that when Andrea came up. Andrea, I'm going to read this verbatim because it was really nice. Oh yeah. So imagine my relief when I first met Andrea. If there's one person that will help save Andrew from himself, it has to be that fabulous woman right over there. Not only has she taken the 5-year endurance test before finally binding herself to him, but she brings a new driving force to him, encouraging and somehow just plain shoving him into new directions, helping him plan for their future together, which for Andrew, whose calendar usually only stretches as far as tomorrow, is no mean feat. I think one of my first memories of Andrea was actually solidified a second ago, was when I met her. She told Andrew to immediately shut up and not be so stupid. And I remember I hadn't heard that before in a girlfriend from Andrew. And I thought, you'll go far. Andrea, I couldn't have picked a better partner for my best friend than you. Your warm nature, your caring spirit, and ability to cook a roast that could happily feed a family of 10 is a perfect match for a loveling, bearded gannet like. And what makes me even happier is now I know that there's another person that has chosen to love this man as much as I do. Andrew, you are the best friend I could have hoped for. And when we first met on the streets of Tollgate Close, as a snotty 9-year-old and 12-year-old that looked like a reject from Biker Grove, I don't think either of us saw us here today. And if we went back and told them how we would be in 20 years from then, they wouldn't have believed us. And the 12-year-old you would have took our advice. Andrea, please continue to look after him, and if things get too much, may I suggest a lock on the outside of the bedroom door. Just put an Xbox and a TV in there, he'll be fine. Above all, thank you for everything you've done for him and you're continuing to do for him by taking his hand in marriage. And is there hang on, that word doesn't make sense. Oh no, yes it does, if you excuse the iPhone's autocorrect. If there's such a thing as a best friend-in-law, I count you as one. And I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Big love. Now we cut some cake.
Cake!